Welcome back to Anahuac Sports Live in the Third Coast Integrated Martial Arts Pregame Show. Trent Hart down on the field with the coach for the Mart Panthers, Kevin Hoffman. Coach, thank you for taking the time to speak with us today.
I appreciate you.
Coming off last week's win over McGregor, Coach, and after looking at that film, what are some of the things you were pleased with and looking on the field today?
Just that our kids kept playing, and we got a lead and gave up a few touchdowns in the fourth quarter, and some onside kick attempts by McGregor, and the kids just kept playing and kept fighting, and didn't, when something went bad, didn't give in to it. So proud of the young kids and some backups that had to come into the game and finish the game up because of a couple of injuries that we had. Proud of those kids.
With that said, Coach, what are some of the things from that y'all feel y'all need to improve on today and moving on so early in the season and as y'all go into the district play?
Well, offensively and defensively, we got to continue to get better at the things that we're teaching these kids and trying to do. Special teams, we got to clean up some stuff in special teams, and we spent some extra time this week working on some phases in our special teams that were lacking.
Let's talk about a little bit about the offensive side of the football, Coach. Traditionally, y'all went with a spread power running and a jet sweep style of play. Is that what y'all have stuck with this year, and who do you rely on to lead that offense?
Yeah, we're a spread power running team, and that's what we want to do. That's what we hang our hat on. That's what we've done for years. Ever since I've been here, we're going to continue to try to do that. Obviously, we'll lean on our quarterback, running back, slot receivers on jet and things like that, and take a chance here and there with our outside receivers when those opportunities arise.
Well, 3-peat state champions and 8 total state titles on Mart's mantle. That's an impressive statistic, Coach, on any level of Texas high school football. How are y'all able to keep that level of consistency, and what will be your keys to victory here today?
Well, that's the expectation of these kids, the coaching staff, the community. They know what's at stake day in, day out, night in, night out, whenever we practice, play. And they don't want to be that team to let everyone down. And so, the keys to the game today are going to be, our defense and to be able to line up to multiple formations and stop the Anahuac's running game. If we could do that and then force them to, maybe throw the ball or do something they don't particularly want to do, that's always, no matter who we play, that's kind of our goal. And offensively we want to run the football and we want to run it consistently and we want to be clean in special teams.
Well, Coach, thank you for being with us and best of luck in today's game.
I appreciate it.
That was Coach Kevin Hoffman with the Mart Panthers as we continue the Third Coast Integrated Martial Arts Pregame Show after this on Anahuac Sports Live. Welcome back to Anahuac Sports Live in the third. Trent Hart back here on Anahuac Sports Live in the third Coast Integrated Martial Arts pregame show. I'm joined here by Anahuac Panther head coach Greg Neese. And coach, as we continue today with what has thus far been an unusual season with a pandemic and the cancellation of your Week 1 matchup due to Hurricane Laura, today's game against Mart is also unique for a preseason contest held on a Saturday and at a neutral site. Certainly wasn't in the original plan, coach, but can you elaborate on that and how hard was it to get this game going here today?
Well, our original schedule, we had a KIP Generations, they're a private school out of Houston, and for a Week 3 matchup, and because of the COVID, they had to shut down, and so we moved their game to our open weekend district, which we found out yesterday that they will not be able to play, so now we'll probably just play a 9-game schedule. But when I was looking for a game to Week 3, I was kind of looking ahead, and I had a friend of mine say, well, hey, Mart's looking for a game. And then, Mart's always looking for a game because people don't like playing them. They won the state championship 3 years in a row. They've won 8 overall as a school, and they have one of the best teams in the state regardless of class. So I talked to my defense coordinator and Coach Finchers and said, heck yeah, let's strap it up and see what happens. So I called Coach Hoffman, and we talked a couple times, and then we tried to find a Friday night venue, but nobody wanted to host this because of the COVID, and so we had to settle on a Saturday with Coach Rusty Nail here at Madisonville, and he's actually letting us play here for free. And so it's a good setup, and we're excited about the challenge. We know we're the underdog, but we're hoping to give them a good game.
Well, it's definitely a plus that we can get this game in here. Coming off last week's game against Hampshire Fournette, Coach, I'm sure that you and your staff has peeled over that film. What are some of the things that you were pleased with and plan to build on here today?
Well, I like the attitude of our kids. We're trying to change the culture, and we took a huge step in that last year. And even though we were disappointed with the loss, our kids kept trying the whole game. We were actually in the game all the way to the end. We had a chance to cut it to win 3, and we had an unfortunate drop to pass in the end zone, or we'd have cut it to 3, and then we're onside kicking to try to get the ball and go for the win with about 3 minutes left. So even as bad as we played, we were still right there in the game against a good 4A school. So I like that. I like the aggressiveness of our defense. Like I said, we're farther along on defense this year at this point than any time last year. So that's a good step. And then I'm also excited about my quarterback, Landon Corbett. He's a sophomore. That sucker's a winner and a champion, and he's the ultimate type of player to coach. He does a great job in practice. He's a great practice player, and he's also a great game player.
Well, touching on sophomore quarterback Landon Corbett, last week, Coach, he rushed for 22 times for 94 yards and passed 11-18 for 128 yards. Most of those catches going to junior wideout Zion Clark, 7 balls caught for 108 yards. One particularly exceptional one-handed grab in the touchdown late in the game. While we all know that this is a team effort, Coach, it has to be comforting to see what these young men can do this far.
Well, absolutely. And you're talking about 2 of our offensive stars. Zion was the leading receiver in our district last year, returning. He led the league in receiving yards last year as a sophomore, so that says something about him. And then Landon, this is his first time to start. Now, you can't do anything without an offensive line, and that's probably the best part of our offense. And they go unnoticed like most offensive lines do, but we're very excited about our offensive line. They're big guys. They all get along. Coach Dell does a great job with them, and that's our strongest unit on our team is our offensive line. So, if we get our running backs, we got new running backs back there. They're trying to learn the process and where to line up and who gets the ball. When we figure that out, I think we're going to end up being a pretty good offense, one of the best ones in the district.
Absolutely. Those big men up front are definitely bringing this team together and pushing that offense forward. What are some of the things you feel like you need to improve on today and moving forward through this year?
Well, one of the negative things last week, and it probably falls on me as the head coach, was special teams. We had some breakdowns there, and we probably didn't work it as much as we should have, but it's been a crazy year just trying to fit practices in and school being canceled and all that type of stuff. But, we had a snap over the head with our punter, which gave them good field position. Even though we stopped them, it flipped the field. So we stopped them, but we got the ball back, but not as deep in their territory as we would have liked. We also missed the extra point and just had some breakdown on some coverage on kickoffs. Gave up a contain one time, so we honed in this week on that. And I'll say this about our booster club. Our athletic booster club at Anahuac is outstanding. They do a lot of purchases for us. They generate a lot of money through our track meets and stuff. And we're looking for a lot of parents and people in town to come help out, maybe on a Thursday night, just work the concession stand for an hour or two. So I'm asking our fans to do that. But I wanted a drone. I know a lot of these programs around Texas have drones, and they film the practices. You can't do games, but you film the practices with a drone. And so we got Coach Moore, who's our rocket guy in school, teaches a rocket class, and we have that drone right above, and so it's able to see down and see all the lanes and everything that people are running, and it's an outstanding view for our coaches and also for our players when we're trying to learn the game.
Well, what a great tool to have and be able to utilize, Coach. What do you know about Mart and the type of offense Coach Hoffman likes to run, and how do you plan to contain them on defense?
Well, contain them on defense, that's the big $1 million question today, because they have one of the most outstanding skill group of kids that we'll see all year for sure, and also in the state of Texas. We got the number 10 at quarterback. He's an all-state quarterback, 3-time state champion. He's a big kid, big powerful runner. So they like he's their dude. He's their GoDaddy. They also got a kid number 12 who runs the jet sweep. He also plays some quarterback also, and he's going to be the fastest man on the field today, and probably one of the fastest guys in Texas. And we got to contain him. Number 12, we see number 12 running down the sideline too many times. He's going to break some because he's that fast. If we don't contain him, it could be a long day for us. And on defense, I know you haven't asked about defense yet, but they got one player that I think I've talked about. It's number 1. That sucker last year was their Willie backer, and they moved into middle linebacker. They run the 4-3. And that sucker, it looks like Lawrence Taylor on the field. He's running around making plays, and we got to take care of him on offense. We're working on more cuts with our offensive line this week. We didn't have enough cut blocks last week, and those guys are fast, but they're not fast when you cut them on the ground. So that's one of our focuses today on offense.
Mart's resume in Class 2A is extensive, as you touched on earlier. What are some of the things that you're going to have to do here to secure victory, Coach?
Well, I think us not being able to play real fast right now is really not that bad of a thing for us, even though when we're at optimum speed, we like to snap it every 11 seconds. But our kids just aren't there yet, and I don't want to force the issue right there with that. So we're going to slow it down a little bit and get into some huddle stuff. Now we will do some tempos after big plays and stuff, and maybe we get rolling. We'll start doing some tempos, maybe 2 or 3 continuous plays. But we got to control the clock. Understand the game. We're still teaching the game. We've got 3 downs to get 10 yards. So if you simplify it like that, if they realize that, you don't have to have a big gain all the time. But if you get 4 yards a play, you're going to get a first down, move the chains, and that clock keeps running. So when that clock's running, we have the ball. Everybody knows the philosophy. They don't have the ball, which is a good thing. So I think if we're able to control the clock a little bit, and we're trying to keep it close at halftime, either with the lead or tied or within one score, I like our chances in the second half. So that's kind of what we're looking at.
Good deal. Coach, thanks for taking the time with us before kickoff, and best of luck to y'all today.
Appreciate you covering us. Thank you.
That was head coach of the Anahuac Panthers, Greg Neese, and we will come back for the coin toss and the national anthem right after this on Anahuac Sports Live.